Yeah, 2020 has been a huge transitional year for me. I just got burned out. I was in year 12. I was an art teacher, so I felt like when I got my degree, when I started in public education, that I had to prove myself because there wasn't a whole lot of respect for art teachers. Trying to be an artist and an art teacher in such a strict uh, school district just made expression very hard, very difficult, especially when you were supposed to adhere to standards. Did the best I can and had some successes. I think I used to love getting like actual art ideas from the kids. But I just kept giving. I kept giving and giving and giving to that district, and I'm sure that's probably my own boundary issues now that I hear myself say that out loud. But I kept giving, kept giving. Then I had some goals that I wanted to reach, and I decided that, okay, cool, I got some goals to work towards, so that kind of fueled the momentum. And met a really amazing principal who I followed into the middle school level, and I wasn't ready for that young age group. I thought I was. I was more enamored by the leadership and the teachers, and then I met the kids, and I was like, oh my God, you're really young. And then not only were they really young, they were like 3 times the size of the student body that I was teaching when I left junior high. And I was like, hold on, here we go. Like, I started struggling my very first year at middle school, and I just kept pressing on through. I was getting talked to all the time for my tone. I had like a junior high tone. I was meant to like teach other older kids, but little 10-year-olds, when they hear you talk like this, they just, so phone calls from parents were coming in saying that my discipline was too strict, and little girl said she couldn't go to sleep at night, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, and I'm literally like, holy crap, I feel like a crazy person. I'm trying my best to be really, really nice and sweet to these little kids, but I'm like this monster. I was literally 50-50 at middle school level. The kids either loved me or they hated me. It was nuts, and it was just constant stress. Add to the fact that it was just a blow-off class at that level, and teachers taught it as a blow-off class. It was like this go to recess time. I'm an artist by nature. I want to teach art. I want to reach a cathartic point in all my classes. And I wasn't getting that. I was just babysitting. It was constant babysitting. I had to like manage behavior problems and kids stealing stuff and breaking stuff, and then just not being looked at as a team teacher. We were encore. We were like, oh, those are the teachers, And I heard professional teachers say that all the time. Oh yeah, just go get an encore teacher to do that. It's like we were the lower, and they could tell us all day long, no, we see you as equals. No, they didn't. They didn't treat us that way. They didn't. And that attitude is going to carry on into the kids, so they're not going to take our classes seriously.
Yeah.
I never really fit in the teaching anyway. I'm just cut from a different cloth, and I meet these really, really clean, wholesome people, and here I am. I come from construction, and I've been in the military, and I have this really, really rough background. So I just felt like the black sheep from the very beginning. When I went to school in the very beginning, I didn't even know what I wanted to do anyway. I just love art, so I went to school for art, and I had people telling me, you can't make money off of art. So I was like, okay, well, I'll find a career in art. And the easiest career, honestly, to find was teaching. So I was like, okay, let's give this teaching thing a try. So if I got to be honest with myself, teaching wasn't even on my spectrum when I was going into a professional career. So a lot of that is just, poor planning on my part. And people, I'm friends with a lot of staff that I worked with over the past 12 years. I made really good friends. I learned so much. I really did learn some amazing just life stuff from these people. So I'm not entirely ungrateful. I have beef with Bentonville. I got beef with Bentonville schools,
Yeah.
And not that I was expecting anything for what I've given, but so my very first year at that new school, things are going really, really good. But I won Teacher of the Year that year at the very first inaugural year at Creekside Middle School. I won Teacher of the Year, and I felt validated finally.
Yeah.
I felt like, man, right on. Like they recognize the arts as, achievable for this category. So I got to enjoy that glory for maybe a week. That was also the same week that my ex told me that we should get a divorce. Like, it was a lot going on. It was a very weird week.
Yeah.
But I maybe got to savor that moment for like a week and a half because I accidentally, so I was taking an art class at the same time, and they were getting really edgy with their art and stuff like that, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna get edgy. I'm gonna put a lot of the human figure, the nude figure in my art and stuff like that. I have this selfie thing that's still gonna happen one of these days, but it's funny what we send through our phone. You text pictures of your genitalia to each other. I just think that's hilarious. Like, what if animals and dogs are just like, like that? To me, that's a funny concept that humans do that. And I want to poke at that with art. And that was going to be this really edgy piece that I was going to submit at the end of this session that I was taking. And so I had a collection of tasteful, like nothing explicit or X-rated, but just all I did was I just got online and I was like, send nudes, and I hit imagery and I just took some screenshots because I was just going to cut slivers of them out. So I got all these nudes, male and female, in my phone. So that comes back to this story. I was really happy about a clay project at school that I was really just stoked about. Man, the kids did a wonderful job. So I took all these pictures, and to arrange the pictures, I went ahead and took screenshots to get them all in order. But I forgot to crop the little film strip out of the bottom of those screenshots right there. So I go onto my school Twitter account and tweet out this awesome ceramics projects that we just finished up. And I was really proud of my Twitter. Like, I had a good educational following. I had like 1,500 people followers, and everything. Yeah. Dude, I leaked out these little film strip of selfies, and they ended up being like 2 guys on top of that, which poor little conservative Bentonville could not handle. So momentum's going good. I got teacher of the year. I'm happy. Classes are going okay. And I get a text from my principal. Dude, take that tweet down now. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, yes, sir. And I got on Twitter and deleted it. I completely missed it because I didn't look at the little film strip down there, which was just 2 very pixelated images of like a guy nude just kind of sitting back on the beach, and another one like in the mirror taking a selfie, and you see his butt, dude. So in order to make a political presentation, I was suspended for 2 days without pay, and that really hurt. That really took a chunk of, it took a blast at the finances because I was going through a divorce at the same time. Yeah. And so I've never gotten over that. I don't know. That was the start of it all. That was 3 years ago. And I get this letter. They gave one to me at school, and they mailed one to me at home. And it was this letter of disappointment and just utter. And one of the points that they made was that I had betrayed Bentonville's trust, dude. And that was a knife in the gut, dude. We were supposed to sit in this, Teacher of the Year ceremony, and the whole town just sitting around all these hypocrites, and it just drove me crazy, So I made it through that year. Come back second year, I publicly came out, and so I was also managing, the fact of being like an openly gay person in the professional atmosphere in a very conservative, school district, So, but I got some support there, but it was just a lot going on, and I'm trying to learn how to live on my own after a 20-year marriage. My 3rd year is when I quit. I was just struggling with my mental health. I was probably drinking a little bit too much, and I was just getting a little pissed at the world. I was getting a little bit careless with just behaviors, and that all wound me up into like a little stint in the hospital for a while. I came out, and I just couldn't get my bearing after that, and then I just quit. We came back January 29th, and had some little kid acting up in my class, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. I was like, I've had enough. And I walked out in the hall, and I radioed down to someone, hey, someone come to my classroom. And our counselor comes running up to me, and she's like, hey, what's up? I was like, I took off my badge and I handed it to her. I was like, I quit. She's like, what? I was like, she pushes it back to me. She's like, I need you to think about this. I was like, no, I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a very long time. I quit. I was like, I quit this fucking job, that I love, but that kept hurting me, Yeah. It kept hurting me and hurting me and hurting me. And I just kept looking like a more crazier person. Bought a 5th wheel and moved out to the family's land and just wanted to get away from society for a minute, and then that was an irrational decision, so now we're kind of back in a more stable environment for my daughter.
when you moved into your trailer, what were you thinking?
It was exhilarating at first. It was an amazing adventure because I love road trips and I just love that whole Jack Kerouac style. You know, I just love it. And I'm going back there, you know, one day.
What was it like as you were making the decision to move out of your trailer again?
It was bittersweet, you know. And it was a really nice thing going on out there. I can't be in a fifth wheel camper with my freshman daughter. You know, she needs her privacy. I need my privacy. It was the time. It was just really bad. I need to work. Like that's in my blood. Like I need to work, and I need to work hard. And I really didn't know what to do. I couldn't get a job anywhere, especially with the whole COVID thing happening. And my friend was like, "Hey man, call my dad. He's got this construction business." And I thought, I come from construction, you know. I'm like, okay, let's do it. It's a really good decision. Like I love this freaking job. Teaching sent me home every day feeling like a failure, but this job, even on my bad days where I make a bad mistake, I still learned something. I still made something.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I banged my hands up and I broke myself all up. I fell last week, so now I can't work for another week. But I can't wait to get back to it and build. And tools are awesome, and there's no kids or parents.
What do you think are some boundaries you should have set?
I mean, I should have said no more. I should have said no a lot more. I said yes to everything because I was just trying to please everybody. I just wasn't taking care of myself, I think. And then I've got a history of mental illness, so I just wasn't treated properly, you know, in the whole teaching scene. I should have been on medication a long time ago, and I, you know, because of old religious ethical reasons, I didn't. Everything just kind of came to a head, you know. But I don't regret it, dude. I don't regret it. It worked out. Like I'm doing something that I love.
Did your divorce have any relation to you becoming gay, or anything like that?
Yeah. No, I've always known.
Okay.
I've always known. Like my earliest memories, you just know what your preferences are, you know, and I just always known. But I grew up in a very, very religious setting, and God was presented as like there was a lot of hell and you know, and stuff that I was taught that actually really isn't in the Bible. So I spent my whole life just pretending to be another person. Maybe that's what the the mental illness is from, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the PTSD is from. I spent my entire life pretending to be someone else out of fear, you know. I had a gay uncle, and my dad, I heard stories of my dad putting him in the hospital, you know, and stuff like that. So there was this fear of like be a man.
Him up, or?
Yeah, you put him in the hospital, you like attacked him, you know.
Wow.
I grew up with my mom always screaming at me like, walk like a man, you know. Everyone was always like, walk like a man, you know. And at school, kids were always like, how come you talk like a girl, and you know. And then I got bullied pretty harshly from 7th to 9th grade about it, and until I just had enough. And then the rest of high school, that I just got into the party scene and just covered it all with drugs, you know. But it was always religion. Religion was always there. You know, that true me never existed. It just wasn't there. You know, do not be that guy. You know, and I mean, did I experiment? Yep, I experimented a lot. I experimented a lot in high school, but it was just this constant guilt. It was just this constant like I'm going to hell. You know, my first experience with another dude, I was like, I remember the whole way home, like praying. I was 16 years old, and the whole way home praying that I wasn't going to die, like in a car crash or something. You know, I just didn't know what to do. I was horrified. I really got toxically masculine, and I got really into like the street scene, and like, you know, my neighborhood was a really rough area, so I was just all about it. You know, just wearing nothing but black, and you know, it was the early 90s, so it was like just gangster and just be as hard as you can. And then I took that mentality and I mixed that with like evangelical Bible stuff, and it just became this Bible man, this tough Bible man. And then I met my future wife. It was never in my mind to really ever stay with her. it really wasn't. So I joined the military, and I was like going to use the military as this time to really kind of just separate us. And but then that first year in the military, I got really lonely, and I thought, you know what, she's a good girl, let's marry her. I'm not supposed to be gay anyway, so I should be married, and I should have a family and go to church. And so I put all that thinking back together again, and I became that married guy.
So was marrying her scary then, since you knew you were gay?
No, it was exciting. I was like, hell, I'm getting married, and I can do this. I was like, I've done it my whole life. I can do this, I can express myself in my privatest of moments, and if the urges ever get to be, too much, so we got married, and we had a great time military. We did a lot. We had our son, and but I began to think about the end of the military. I didn't want to stay in. I wanted to get out. I wanted to start being myself, and it really began kind of thinking of the idea like, hey, I'm going to have to be honest with my wife. Like, I'm going to have to let her know this thing, and if it leads to divorce, and that's what it is, or if we stick it out and work something out, whatever. I was just ready for whatever, Left the military with now 2 kids, and I had the distraction of transition from the military world to civilian world to just keep me completely distracted. And so there was that whole rough year of just not even knowing who the fuck I was anymore. I didn't know who I was. Now I was having a complete identity just meltdown. I look back at pictures, and I used to dress really weird, and I gained a lot of weight. Dude, I put like 30 pounds on like in 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like enough to like where there was a crew we were working with, and we separated from these guys, and we caught back up on another job, and one of the guys was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, he visibly noticed this weight gain. So I just didn't know what to do. I was just, someone just sent me to work, I come home, and I take care of my babies, And then we just dove headstrong into church. It just began to wear on me, like right away, until I can't remember how it all went down, because it was a very shameful moment. It was very traumatic, but I do remember telling my wife at the time, like, hey, I think I might be like, struggling with homosexuality, and she just verbally just broke me apart.
Wow.
And she got her family involved, the church got involved, and I was sitting in these prayer circles, and I was going to conversion therapies, and I lived my 20s and my 30s under this guise of being this just this fucking disgusting injured person, And again, though, we had good times. We had family, we had kids to invest in, there was family stuff, but it was just this thing I just was like constantly just holding down, And then I just couldn't help it anymore. I really couldn't. I began to just really kind of get closer to my male friends. I began to actually act out in really like obsessively compulsive ways with like my male friends. I was like a lot in my male friendships. Like, I would chase a lot of male friends away because I was just so clingy. I was just like, oh my God, and there was this confusion, this constant confusion that, oh, they see it, and then there was all this insecurity and shit. And then I just got to a point where I just didn't care, dude. I just started being honest. I just started letting 1 or 2 people know in my life that, hey, I think I'm gay, But it was in the church scene, so it was just this thing that we're just going to keep quiet about,
Yeah.
And, just share with me anytime you get those urges, and we're going to pray the devil out of you and shit like that, And,
so were a lot of them trying to fix you then?
Trying to fix me, yeah. It was like friendships with an agenda, And I just wanted the connection, the relationship, So I became very codependent on my friendships, and I ruined a lot. I just self-sabotaged. So the fast forward, the kids are getting older, and life's kind of moving ahead, and Cindy and I are looking at each other like, who the fuck are you? Because now our ideals are differing. She's started to swing towards more right-winged ideas. I started swinging towards more left-wing ideas as I'm trying to like open up and broaden minds and stuff like that. And it wasn't until the first Trump election, where we looked at each other and we were like, who are you? We don't even know who you are anymore, because we just focused our life on kids and checking on each other. We maybe had sexual intercourse maybe a handful of times in 20 years. We know we had it 3 times, because we had 3 kids,
Yeah.
But that bothered her. She wanted this exciting sexual marriage, and I was just like, I don't know how to do that, and it began to wear on her self-esteem and her self-image, and she took that really hard for a long time, and the gay thing was always the big elephant in the room, And every so once in a while, you hear publicly some evangelical or some politician come out, after being caught with another guy or something like that, and she'd always look at me and be like, "Please don't let that ever be you." She was always kind of fearing this scandal,
So she was afraid of getting a certain image.
Yeah, and Cindy's image of a man too is very like her dad's a great man, and he's a picture of just American masculinity, and that was what Cindy wanted to marry. She wanted this masculine person, I just got tired of flexing. I just got tired. I just want to, and so I don't know. Fast forward, she dressed up one day and we went out to eat, and she was really friendly, and she was like, "Let's do it." She was just like, "Let's divorce," and she was so optimistic. And she's like, "Let's go be you and I'll go be me, and let's just we're in our 40s now, let's go." And it was just great, and I didn't see the storm that was coming. Like I feel like I'm just now, like, her and I we're good friends now. So we spent spring break talking to all of our family. Like, we drove down, I just told my whole family. We just sprung it on everybody. Like, "Hey, we're getting divorced." And we're happy with each other, and everything's going good, and there's only one lawyer involved just for the paperwork, but other than that, it's cool. It was literally like that, but everyone was like,
I bet you got some interesting reactions.
Dude, everyone was just like, everyone was like, "Are you too crazy? Like, how could you handle this?" And everybody wanted to know the why, and so people were instantly like, "It's an affair, isn't it? It's an affair." And that's where I was on the spot in every single moment. "Hey guys, well, turns out that I'm not really into women." My brother was like, "Duh." He jumped up, "Dude, just don't define it, dude. Just don't define it. Don't, oh, man." Apparently I felt bad. I guess he really had a hard time with it, I didn't know my brother was going to feel that way, but he really had a hard time with it. My sister she's just so loving and understanding. My whole family's loving and understanding. I had to understand that they've seen this whole picture of me for 40 years, and now, now we're springing on them not only divorce, but also I'm gay.
Yeah.
That's 2 bangers right there. So I had to tell them. In that 1 week, we told all of them. I told my in-laws, and then we had to run home. We still had to tell our kids, and so we pulled, my oldest one and my youngest one together with his wife, and we told them, and there was just crying. It was just sudden news, And then I told my daughter the next day, and she jumped across the bed and hugged me. "Oh my gosh, Dad!" And then she was like, "Wait a minute, I'm graduating." She was graduating high school this year, and she was like, "My parents are getting divorced." So I felt bad about that. It was never a good time for a divorce, I guess. But dude, it happened fast. Like, in a month, we told everybody, and it was done. I remember she walked out of the courtroom, and we were like, "That's it. And then we went to this really weird time where no one had any emotion.
Do you think that emotionlessness was a defense mechanism?
Absolutely, because Cindy and I talk about our breakdowns now, and I had a friend tell me, "Hey, I 2 years after my divorce, I was still wrestling with stuff, So here we are, about 2.5 years after our divorce, and I'm like, wow, that was emotionally messy.
Yeah.
And we're still healing from just the rush of it. I think, we just it's like we just ripped the doggone band-aids off, So, yeah. She's happy. I'm glad she's happy, and I'm happy. I don't even know what that means, but
I mean, a lot of times it does not end like that. So
yeah,
I guess you guys are kind of lucky.
Yeah, I feel fortunate. And she's a huge support, dude. Like, she still helps me with shit. My son said it best. He said, like, my ex and I kind of just went back to our senior years in high school. We really did. I had this rush of independence that I hadn't felt since I was in my 20s. She's happily married, remarried. I'm like, nope. Nope, I just want friends. That's all I want. Yeah, I just want friends around me, and
Yeah. It's awesome that you're that comfortable with yourself. And
yeah, dude, I love it, man. I really do. If I just get a moment to myself, it's just so nice to have just a moment to myself,
yeah.
and to get my mind right. But then at the same time, there's just something in connection, So I don't want to ever chase people away. I just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like the marriage package, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Lightning can strike, but as of now, I can barely take care of me.
Yeah.
I came out to quiet rumors
Mm-hmm.
and to also be honest, because I'm tired of bullshit. I'm tired of people being fake,
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is who I am, folks. And I'm gonna work through this, and I'm probably not gonna work through it gracefully, but it's about time. I kept myself quiet
Mm-hmm.
long enough, And yeah, so it feels good, man. It feels like, my kids. I was worried about my kids for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have this image of your parents, your whole life, and then all of a sudden they come out differently. Anthony was always like,
Mm-hmm.
Dad, you were like against homosexuality. I was like, I know. I was like, I hated myself. I hated myself, and I used that hatred to hate everybody about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's made my faith better. I understand like the love of a God, if that thing, I know it exists. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that it's not who we think we are. It's who he sees us as. I don't know, he or she or it or whatever, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I'm not damned. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm trying to say. Like, I had a lot of people like I had my aunt talk to me a month and a half ago or so, and she just was like, I just don't know how to pray for you. And I'm like, you don't have to pray for me. She goes, pretty much in a nutshell, like, my mind's been handed over to the devil, so none of her prayers are going to work for me. My mom, and
Yeah.
they have a hard time with it. My dad threatened my life, and
Wow.
that was like our last conversation. I haven't really heard from him since.
How long ago was that?
About 2 years ago or so, 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Did you have a good relationship with your dad before?
I mean, both my parents were addicts. They were heroin junkies. So, I don't know if that's got to be a story for another time, but he
Yeah.
was in and out of jail. And then you get out of jail and he would find God, and we would go through this time of strict religion. We had to throw all our music away, and everything was holiness or you go to hell. And then they would slip up, get back into drugs again. We'd lose everything, and then he'd go back to prison. So it's like this cycle, until I just got sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's a beautiful person, beautiful soul. He's creative. I get my artistic ways from him, but he's just a very hateful, bitter man. But he had a tortured childhood, so it's just this thing about generations hurting the next generation.
Hurt people. People.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And so, like, I don't hate my parents at all. I love my dad. I know that I'll see him on the other side, and we're gonna look at each other and be like, "We were fighting about that." Oh my God, like I just believe that in my soul. So I'm not bitter about him. I just wish our last words would have been more loving.
Yeah.
But wherever he is right now, I know that he knows that, dude. I'm at peace with that.
Do you think you might ever try to get in touch with him again?
Honestly, we all think he's like passed away. Yeah. My sister did some pretty exhaustive searching, and he knows how to disappear, but we think this may have been it for him. He's pushing 70, and he's a rascal to his last day. My mom and I are okay. We try and check in. She's always going to tell me how much she loves me, but then, I just don't fully agree. Will you just please say the Lord's Prayer with me? Just please say the Lord. I'm like, Mom, I hurt her feelings really bad a few months ago. I was like, Mom, I don't believe in your God. And that just hurt her. I didn't mean it to hurt her.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah.
So do you often find yourself playing the game still when you're with your mom or other Christian friends?
No, everyone's going to know the real me. Yeah, everyone's
awesome.
going to know me. It's hard right now on the construction side.
Yeah.
Man, it's like Like I work around your good old boys,
Yeah.
and so I just shut up and do my work, and I have a feeling they all just kind of just know there's something different about me anyway. I hear that a lot. I heard that a
Yeah.
lot when we moved to Arkansas from California. Everyone's always like, "You're different." If I'm
Yeah.
forced to be here, damn it, then I'm going to express myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds like it took you a while to learn that, though.
yeah, and I'm still learning. I'm nowhere near, not even know where I'm supposed to be. I just know that I got to keep
Yeah.
going, got to keep working hard. So it's just a whole new way of thinking, building a whole new grid.